Hello, a very good morning, and welcome to HitzAfrik Radio here in Ghana. You can follow us on YouTube, hitsafrikradio.org, and on Facebook too, HitzAfrik Radio. Now, this is HitzAfrik Business News with me, Jenny Kumsen. Let's go straight to our news headlines. China exporting cocoa cause for concern, cocoa board. And also the Minister for Energy says we need to generate more energy, says the minister. And moving on, new taxes will push a liter of petrol and diesel to 6 Ghana cedis soon. These and many more coming up in 30 minutes. Now, news in details. Now, the Ghana Cocoa Board laments that China's recent export of cocoa raises some concerns for the future of the sector in Ghana. The Asian country is reported to have exported to Belgium its first batch of cocoa beans weighing 500 kilograms worth about $300,600. In an interview with a City Business News, the public affairs manager of Cocoa Board, Fifi Bafo, indicated that it's been of concern, a concern in the sense that generally the cocoa market has been saturated and consumption does not seems to be growing as fast as production of cocoa. So any new additions in terms of production is a matter of concern because higher production without commensurate consumption will force the price of cocoa downwards. Mr. Boafo, however, quantity of exported cocoa and other variables and that presently might not be a cause for alarm. He says the concern has to do with the fact that would China be able to produce in large quantities and be commercially viable? It is a question I asked because if you look at cocoa production generally, it grows in places where you have, for example, between 10 degrees north and 10 degrees south of the equator, where the climate temperature ranges between 18 to 32 degrees Celsius with rainfall of about 1,500 millimeter to about 2,000 millimeter. China and the specific places we're talking about does not have the geographical location. The Chinese Academy of Tropical Agricultural Sciences, CATA, has revealed that South China's island province of Hainan exports cocoa beans to Belgium for the first time. Now, Zion, a researcher with the Qatar, is on record to have stated that cocoa is a raw material for making chocolate. With the increasing demand for chocolate, Hainan has been expanding its cocoa planting area and making breakthrough in technological development as Belgium is termed Kingdom of Chocolate. Excellent standards have been recognized by the international community, he added. Now, moving away for a different story, Minister for Energy Dr. Matthew Popo Prempe has called for the need to generate more. The minister made his observation when he opened a forum at the Aqua Safari Resorts in Adan in the Greater Accra region. Dr. Prempe, who was also the MP for Mensah South, that his core vision for the sector reflected the party's 2020 election manifesto on energy, together with the president's vision of safe, reliable energy for the country in a bid to meet its energy needs for domestic consumption and industrialization. On the power purchase agreement currently being renegotiated with independent producers, Dr. Prempo observed that the challenge had been that these were negotiated in an emergency at a time that the nation had fallen on hard times and therefore meant we were in a weaker position to negotiate those agreements in our favor. Going forward, the minister called for a review of the take or pay position and insisted that there would not be government guarantees with respect to future negotiations. We The event brings together directors of the ministry and senior management of various agencies in the sector to discuss the agency's programs last year as well as their projections and key performance indicators going forward in 2021. Other stakeholders, such as the Nuclear Power Ghana and the State Interest and Governance Authority, the retreat will end on Saturday, tomorrow, April 24th, 2021. Building Contractors Association wages war against unregistered foreign contractors. Now, that is a different story. We will do that. Now, the President Association of Building and Civil Engineer Contractors of Ghana, Prosper Yao Ledi, the leadership of the Building Contractors Association, is up in arms against foreign contractors that fail to register with any association in Ghana and bluntly disregard the rules of engagement. Now, according to the leadership, many foreign contractors come into the country and are aided to win contracts without going through the mandatory registration process. Such practices, the executives urged in discriminatory as they go against foreign contractors who are law-abiding and are registered with the various associations. The president of the Association of Building and Civil Engineering Contractors of Ghana, Mr. Prosper, complained bitterly about the activities of these foreign contractors in an interview in Accra after the association signed a new bargaining agreement with the various workers' unions within the construction industry. Mr. Ledy said the refusal of some foreign construction firms to register with the various associations allows them to get in and out of the country at will and in many instances without the requisite compensation for their workers. Mr. Lady alleged that there are influential Ghanaians who facilitate the entry of these contractors into the country and show them from following due processes. I state registered foreign construction firms feel cheated by the activities of the unscrupulous ones. It is unacceptable for one foreign construction company to be law abiding while others sneaks into the country, gets big deals, and sneak out, Mr. Lady lamented. Now, the president said if not checked, the practice could lead to total indiscipline within the construction industry and urged the new Minister of Works and Housing, Francis Asenso Boachi, to, as a matter of urgency, address the challenge. These unregistered foreign construction firms employed our people. They do not go by any bargaining argument. Pay them what they want, and when the job is done, they just pack and leave them to their fate. It's so unfair, he stated. Mr. Ladi also urged government to extensively consult them on its intended programs and policies before they are formulated. He bemoaned a situation where government takes decisions that eventually impact on them without getting them involved. Meanwhile, the association, together with the various unions, has agreed on a 12% rise in wages for construction workers in the country. This follows days of deliberations between the company and the Construction and Building Materials Workers Union, Construction and Allied Workers Union, and the General Construction Manufacturing and Quarries Workers Union. The new wage takes effect from January 1st, 2021. Now, to a different story, the implementation of some of the new tax policies introduced in the 2021 budget statement from 1st May is likely to contribute to fuel prices rising to 6 Ghana cedis per litre in the near future. Now, that's according to the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers. Of the new taxes that will be implemented from the beginning of next month, the ones expected to impact fuel prices are the energy sector recovery levy and the sanitation and pollution levy. The amended energy sector levy will lead to the imposition of 20 pesos per litre of petrol and diesel and 18 pesos per kilogram on liquefied petroleum gas. There will also be an imposition of a sanitation and pollution levy of 10 pesos per litre Ghana cedis of petroleum and diesel, respectively. Now, speaking to the media on the new tax, Duncan Amo executive um, Secretary at the COPEC bemoaned the rising tax components in the price building up of fuel and said Ghanaians are going to further abandon going forward. Now, he said Ghanaians have had cause to complain about the over 18 percentage point increase in fuel prices since January this year. The expectation would have been that the budget will find innovative ways of reducing the taxes. On the contrary, we are rather increasing taxes on petroleum. The consequences is that we are going to lose a lot of jobs within struggling economy because you are increasing baseline. You're going to increase the cost of living for people who don't have jobs as they still have to move around. I would not be surprised if the GPRTU and other transport operators adds on to their prices. What it means is that you are increasing everything for everyone, and for the first time in a long time, fuel will be approaching 6 Ghana cedis per liters in no time. For the first time in long while, for every liter of fuel you purchase, you could be paying in excess of 50% in taxes, he added. Now, the international advisory firm Confident has urged government to devise strategies to strengthen the country's existing trade relations on the African continent to take maximum advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area. Confident also advised government to, among other things, address the exorbitant cost of credit and power in order to prepare the country to benefit from the free trade agreement. In a research conducted on Ghana's competitive potential in the aftermarket, the Confident discovered that high cost of credit facilities and power, as well as unnecessary wasting of time in complying with export documentation, are factors that may derail Ghana's ability to take advantage of the estimated $3 trillion of the African free trade market. Confidence also observed that Ghana remained a high raw material exporter, with just 20% of its exports being refined goods, analyzing seven major commodities that Ghana exports and imports, including agro-processed foods, cosmetics, textiles, pharmaceuticals, lubricants, plastics, and metals. Now, Confidence ranked Ghana as being among the top 10 exporters in four out of the seven categories. The above, notwithstanding the export rates and cost of credits and power and the sheer wasting of time in the processing of export documents, are factors Confidence found that may be negatively impact on Ghana's competitiveness in the country. Now, Ghana's current average tariff of 12.9% per kilowatt hour for industrial consumers compared to countries such as Zimbabwe, Tanzania, Malawi, Botswana, DR Congo, Mozambique, Zambia, Ethiopia, which all had costs of power less than 10% per kilowatt as at 2016. Worthy of note is that Ethiopia, as at 2016, charged 2.4% per kilowatt hour for consumers. On the cost of credit, the report noted that cost of credits is Ghana's weakest point. The country's rank at the bottom of the list when compared to a top African exporters. The 14.5% policy interest rate in Ghana as of January 2021 is double the African average of 7%, and also compared unfavorably to 1.5% in Morocco, now 3.5% in South Africa, 4.5% in Cote d'Ivoire. Ghana, 15% domestic credit to private sector as a share of GDP, is one of the lowest as compared to South Africa, 141.5%, Tunisia, 82.4%, and Morocco, 63.6%. The report also noted that Ghana's credit customs efficiency is not among the best in Africa, even though Ghana ranks above the African average. The time efficiency of customs in Ghana is estimated at 197.3 hours compared to 40 hours in Kenya, the fastest among the frontier countries. Regarding the cost of the meeting documentary and border compliance, it costs of 645 US dollars in Ghana compared to 262.7 in Morocco and the cheapest among the frontier countries. Now, another challenge that Confident noted may pose challenges to Ghana's competitiveness in the African free trade area market. Ghana's poor transport and logistic connectivity to intra-African markets. Now to a different story. Some executives of the Vendors Association of Ghana, (IVAC), on Tuesday, April 20th, 2021, paid a courtesy call on the new Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Dr. Mohammed Ibrahim Awal, at the ministry. Speaking at the meeting, team leader and president of the association, Kate Hassan, expressed her profound gratitude for the engagement with the minister after his appointment by the president Akufo-Addo. She also explained how EVAC has played significant role in supporting Ghana's events industry since its inauguration 3 years ago, and its plans and activities that are in pipeline to enhance the sector. The head of communication of event planning, Richard Abbey, added that the time has come for a better collaboration with the ministry to regulate the event space. Dr. Muhammad Ibrahim Awal was grateful for the visit and expressed his readiness to work with the event sector to promote social domestic events. He urged stakeholders in the event sector to adhere to the COVID-19 safety protocols and also ensure quality and efficient standards in the sector, adding that the ministry was ready to collaborate with the association. He added that the ministry and the Ghana Tourism Authority, GITA, are putting measures in place to provide skills training for EVAC members. The EVAC encourage that met the ministries comprises Kate Hassan, President, C. Kudo, Vice President, Richard Abbey, Head of Communications, and Richard Hagan, Head of Media Relations. Now, the implementation of new taxes policies announced in the 2021 budget statement and duly approved by Parliament will take effect from May 1st, 2021. The implementation date was announced in a statement issued by the Ghana Revenue Authority (GRA) on April 20th, 2021. According to the government, the implementation of the new taxes, which includes the COVID-19 Health Recovery Levy, the Financial Sector Recovery Levy, the Energy Sector Recovery Levy, and Sanitation and Pollution Levy, is expected to help in rebuilding and strengthening the country's public finances and deliver critical government services and support the transformation of the economy, among others. Parliament passed the laws to allow for their implementation as its last sitting on March 30th, 2021. Per the new notice from the Ghana Revenue Authority, the COVID-19 Health Recovery Levy will see the imposition of 1% levy on the supply of goods and services made in the country other than export goods or services, and import of goods and services other than except imports. Now, the levy also applies to the supply of goods and subject to the VAT flat rate. The Financial Sector Recovery Levy will lead to the imposition of 5% levy on the profit before tax of banks. Now, the tax is payable in quarterly installments. However, for 2021, the levy is payable in 3 installments, commencing from June 30th, 2021. Meanwhile, the amended Energy Sector Levy will lead to the imposition of 20 pesos Ghana cedis on every liter of petrol and diesel, and 18 pesos per kilogram on the price of liquefied petroleum gas. There will also be an imposition of a sanitation and pollution levy of 10 pesos per liter of petrol and diesel, respectively. Now let's move from Ghana to Nigeria. Now, the Nigerian Senate has approved the sum of 1.678 trillion naira as revenue target for Nigerian Customs Service for 2021. This was disclosed by the Senate after its plenary session on Wednesday. The Senate also announced an expenditure of 257 million naira for customs. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Customs, Excess and Tariffs, Senator Francis, disclosed that Customs had initially proposed a revenue target of 1.46 trillion naira, but the Senate committee had settled on a more adequate target, cited feature in the Finance Act 2021 and expansion of accessible items. All these will significantly increase the revenue target of the NCS in 2021 budgets this year, he said. In view of the foregoing not captured in the medium-term expenditure framework, the committee hereby increases the NCS revenue target from 1.46 trillion to 1.678 trillion. The committee chair also said the VAT would be perched at 1.7%, adding that the expenditure would enable the customs service to retain earnings for ongoing projects for 2021. The Nigerian Customs Service had stated that it generated a revenue of 1.3 trillion naira in 2019. Now, still in Nigeria, 27-year-old female ex-banker raises 1.1 million dollars for her tech startup. Now, Deborah, as her name was mentioned, chief executive officer of the Afen Group and a former banker, is in charge of the NFT initiative. To the surprise of the cryptocurrency world, AFEN, the first government-backed NFT initiative, held on the quickest public sales in the cyberspace on April 20th, 2021, raising over $1 million in her tokens sales round. Deborah, chief executive officer of the AFEN Group and a former banker, is in charge of the NFT initiative. The 27-year-old CEO resigned from her job as a business analyst at a top Nigerian bank where she had worked for the previous years for 5 years. Following that, Deborah began pursuing her cyber inspiration, giving birth to Afen, the groundbreaking platform for the digitization of African arts, real estate, and education. Afen intends to use blockchain technologies, especially the Binance Smart Chain Network, to provide solutions to the problems limiting the industrial African trial. Now let's move to Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe's female tobacco farmers struggle to compete at the mercy of international markets and denied access to mainstream finance. The enterprising growers face a precarious existence. Now, growers talk among the bales of tobacco leaves on the first day of the 2021 selling season at tobacco sales floor in Harare this month. Now, the auction house attracts farmers from across the country, but this year, due to COVID-19 restrictions, only a few are allowed on the auction floor. Dozens more wait outside, among them Chinese tobacco dealers, the country's main buyers. Tobacco is a capital-intensive cash crop. If prices are good, it can be very profitable. Zimbabwe is the largest producer in Africa, and in 2018, tobacco accounted for about 10% of the country's gross domestic products. Now, the government wants to make it a 5 million dollar industry by 2025. But growing tobacco has traditionally been the preserve of commercial farmers, predominantly men. While more female smallholders are taking it up, they find it difficult to access loans from mainstream banks and are often forced to borrow from loan sharks. This this ends our story for today. Now a recap of our news headlines. Now we look at new taxes will be pushed a liter petrol and diesel to 6 Ghana cedis, says COPEC. And also Event Vendors Association of Ghana executive engaged in tourism, minister says, and government new taxes policies to take effect from May 1st. And also Nigeria Senate approves revenue targets of 1.68 trillion naira. And same in Nigeria, 27-year-old female ex-banker raises $1 million for her tech startup. These and many more stories we brought to you on HitzAfrik Radio. You can follow us on Facebook, HitzAfrik Radio, and on YouTube, HitzAfrik Radio. I am Jenny Kumson. Enjoy the rest of our programs.